What guns in FragPunk are S tier and which ones are total dog. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and today I'm gonna do my very first FragPunk weapons tier list. My previous Lancer tier list video, a lot of you actually were on board, despite my deep-seated hatred of Hollow Point and Nitro and how broken they are. So if you want to check out that video, make sure to go to my channel and consider subscribing while you're there. So getting right into it, FragPunk doesn't have a ton of weapons. They have 6 classes of primary weapons with 2 each for a total of 12 weapons. Then you have a few secondary pistols, your utility pistols, and of course, your melee weapons. And I'm going to rank them all. So let's go ahead and start with the shotgun category. And first up is the Meat Maker. Yep, you heard that right. It's called the Meat Maker. Some of these weapons have some very strange names, but we're not ranking them based on name, at least not in this tier list. Obviously, shotguns have their place in this game, but they're just underpicked without certain shard cards, so I'm gonna have to put this one in C tier. It's not a bad gun overall, especially if you're playing something like TDM or free-for-all or glue knight grab or whatever the hell mode is in rotation at the time, but the normal game mode it's just not a very appealing weapon. Most maps are just too spaced out or have too many long corridors to have a shotgun just be of any use to you. Next up is what I've always thought was the Boom Boom, but now I can actually see that it's the Boom Broom. Again, weird name, don't know why it wouldn't just be called the Boom Boom. And from this point forward, I'm refusing to call it the Boom Broom, but this one is a little bit more of a viable option considering it's a full auto shotgun and it has cool skins. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to use this thing? I personally don't use it much because my playstyle, I don't use shotguns, but in my opinion, it's definitely better than the Meat Maker. So I'm going to put this one at B tier. Now let's move into the SMG category where we have the Clampdown, or as most people know it by, the Vector. And this one is very good for smaller close range maps, and even in duels, this thing will shred you to pieces. Definitely a well-deserved weapon to put at A tier. Its counterpart in the same category, the Mad Dog, still almost as good, and while its slightly increased damage tries to make up for the lack of fire rate, it usually just doesn't. So it actually also has a silencer to reduce the sound of it, so maybe better for flanking and shooting out some traps if you're just trying to be sneaky, but it just doesn't hold up most of the time, and for that reason I have to put this one at B tier. But it is very close to being an A tier weapon. Now moving on to my favorite class of weapon in the game, the assault rifles. The Discipline is the first option here, and I did go all out trying to get this skin because I was using the Discipline almost every single game, but almost every time I use this gun recently, it just feels like it lets me down. It feels like it's taking way more bullets to kill someone than it actually should, and I don't know if that's the gun's fault with the body shots being underpowered or if it's a hit reg thing, but right now it just hasn't been feeling like the best option for me. So I'm gonna have to stick this one at A tier. Still a solid gun, still an easy pick, and the fire rate and the recoil on it is potentially a good option for new players, but just not for me right now. The next gun is the Fever, which is the AK of this game, and just like in most games, it's pretty damn good. 2 headshots from any distance and it's taking you out, barring any additional health cards that your team may have for that round. And this is sort of the opposite from the SMGs, where this one has a slower fire rate than the Discipline, but overall I think the damage increase here makes up for that, so I have to put this one at S tier. Some people might even call the Fever broken, and I would tend to agree, just based on the ramp up from how much damage a body shot does to how much damage a headshot does. It's just insane. But moving on to our LMGs, our first choice here is the Ghost Pepper, and I'm sorry, but this gun is just the worst weapon in the game right now, by far. And the only reason behind that is it has a charge up time. So while all the other stats might look good, you're hardly ever going to even get a bullet or 2 off before you die unless you're pre-firing, which if you do that, you're giving away your position, or if you're flanking and shooting someone in the back. The only real use this thing has in the higher ranks is to tear down a wall when you have the barrier destruction card. So this is going to be the first and probably the only weapon I'm going to put in D tier. Next up is the My Way, and just like the Fever, this thing is a 2-shot headshot machine. It'll 2-shot headshot anyone from any distance, and while also having 45 bullets in the mag, it makes this another easy S tier pick and is easily my backup weapon when I'm out of picks on the Fever. Next up is marksman rifles, and these you don't really see a ton of in rank unless your team gets that rapid fire marksman card, which then makes them a little OP, but the bad reputation can one-shot headshot someone without any additional cards up to 15 meters before dropping off to 132 damage, which sort of kills the weapon with how slow its fire rate is. Not to mention body shots at any distance can take 3 shots, and that's just not great. But you also shouldn't be really exposing yourself for a long period of time with this weapon if you use it right. Surely no one's just running gunning with a marksman rifle up mid. But still, in my opinion, I'm gonna have to put this at B tier. Next up is the Bad Moon S, which is the other choice you have for marksman rifle. And I would almost say that the silencer and increased fire rate alone makes this the better of the two rifles, almost. However, it's not one-shot headshotting anyone at any distance, and it's now going to take 4 shots to the body at any distance to kill someone. So with the perks of the faster fire rate and the silencer mixed with the lower damage, it's basically the same weapon and thus the same tier. So it's going to go at B tier. Now we get to the sniper rifles, and I'm not even going to waste your time on either one of these. Both of them go at S tier. Most of you know by now how I feel about snipers in this game. These weapons take little to no skill at all, especially if you're using mouse and keyboard. They are broken weapons, and just to be completely honest with you, I don't think they have any place in attack shooter except for that one game mode where it's sniper deathmatch and everybody's using snipers, but that doesn't even count. We can debate this all day, but anything that's one-shotting in a game where you don't respawn is kind of just ridiculous. And before you bring up the one-shot headshots on any weapon in Siege, let me just say Siege is an entirely different game with a lot more close-range combat and realism, whereas FragPunk, you can literally cut off lanes with a sniper in most of the maps. Plus, the other sniper here, the High Life, acts as a fucking shotgun if you hip fire it. So, like, picking this, there's really no downside. You have a weapon for long range, you have a weapon for mid range, and now you have a shotgun for up close. But moving on to our secondary weapons, let me just say these will be sort of their own tier list in and of itself, while I'm also not going to clear the guns that are already on the list. Obviously, if I put one in S tier next to the Fever, I'm not saying one of these pistols is just as good as the Fever. That would just be insane. But the first one we have is Cure-All, and just like I mentioned with the High Life sniper rifle, it acts sort of like a shotgun when you hip fire it. So this is an easy pick for A tier, just an all-around good weapon. The next one we have is the Vicious, which is just a deagle, and out of the pistols, it's got to be S tier just because it can one-shot headshot someone up to 8 meters. Again, do I agree with that being able to do that? Debatable. And then the last pistol is the Cold Shoulder, basically just a full auto pistol, but its damage just feels so underwhelming and only has 15 bullets, so I gotta drop this one down to B tier. Then to round out our secondary weapons, let's take a look at some of these utility pistols. And while all of these do serve a purpose, some are better than others. And when I say some, I mean one. There are 4 total. We have the Blaster, the Flasher, the Smoker, and the Burner. I feel like all the names are pretty self-explanatory as to what they all do. So for 3 of them, they're going to go to A tier, but for the Blaster, I have to put it at S tier. The amount of early kills I've gotten with this thing is insane, and it just changes the entire round when you turn it from a 5v5 to a 5v4 right off the start. And the best part about this one is it works on both attack and defense pretty reliably, so it's just the best utility pick most times, in my opinion. And then last but certainly not least, our melee weapon. There are 2 of them. And if you look at the stats of these 2 and just compare them, anyone running around with the knife is either just doing it for the cosmetic they have on it, or they're just dumb, or both, who knows. But the axe, or as they call it, the striker, has all the same stats except for the damage dealt is higher and the attack range is further. The striker is just a better option. There's no debate about this one. And that's why the knife is A tier, but the axe is S tier. And that's all of the weapons in FragPunk right now. Hopefully they add some more, but just no more snipers, please. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this tier list down in the comments. And if you're watching this the day it comes out, I'm probably live right now, so make sure to swing by and tell me why you think snipers actually take skill, and I'll tell you why you're wrong, and I'll catch you in the next one.